non-dues revenue activities. But Reno really showcased for us event sponsorship, opportunities that might not otherwise be able to be recognized at the federation and the regional levels. And actually during and since the President's meeting, we've had a lot of requests for assistance and guidance in the sponsorship. But a number of things became very clear to us right away. With the limited resources that we have and an already full plate of non-dues revenues activities, it was really clear that any kind of an ad hoc approach to assisting federations and regions just wasn't going to be a resource possibility. So we thought a little bit more about it. It also became clear to us that simply supplying a Rolodex of national sponsor contracts, it really is not a solution either. We're working with national representatives who are evaluating sort of a vast number of opportunities in order to allocate really very large sponsorship budgets. And what they need from NARFE is a single individual who can present a full range of activities that NARFE may be able to offer them and help tailor for them, package for them, something unique package that really meets their national goals. And so that's our objective. But we really think that this program, when you hear about it, can do a number of things. It allows us to share the talent here at headquarters without overburdening the resource. It can generate incremental revenue to offset federation and regional events. And we believe it can enhance the overall experience of the events, whether they be conferences or conventions. So Jennifer, why don't you start in?
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. First, before I dive into a little bit more about the program, I want to clarify the difference between our affinity partners and sponsors, because this was a question that we got during the last time we did this webinar. So affinity partners are basically our member perks, our member benefits. These are companies that offer a discount for members, and in return, every time a member uses that discount, NARFE receives some type of revenue share from the company. So for example, Geico, every time a member calls for a quote on their auto insurance, NARFE receives a certain dollar amount back to the organization. Those are what we call affinity partners. It's an ongoing partnership year-round where there is a mutual benefit between the companies. Sponsorship is a little bit different in that it's usually focused around an event like a convention, the president's meeting, or even a webinar. But a sponsorship is where a company is looking for additional branding exposure in front of a certain audience, and they pay a fee for that, and they get certain benefits around that. For example, at the Federation President's meeting, we saw Beltone sponsor the lunch. They got to speak at the beginning of the lunch. They got their logo up, a pre-event email, several benefits around that sponsorship, and they paid a fee for access to that audience. Another example is a webinar that we are doing in the next couple of months, and United Healthcare is going to sponsor that webinar, and they get certain benefits around that sponsorship of that specific webinar. It doesn't go beyond that, it's just that. So going to the first slide, this program, can you change the slide? So this program, so what we'll offer here is if you choose to participate, the program will offer a variety of options for the sponsor at your event. All sponsors receive standard benefits. So for example, a sponsorship that they could choose would be a meal like a lunch or a reception. They could also choose branding focused sponsorships like lanyards or bags where their logo is on them. And they would choose to sponsor those items, and all sponsors, regardless of what they choose to sponsor, would get what we call standard benefits: logo recognition at the event, the attendee list, complimentary registrations for their representatives to attend. And having these standard benefits, this helps us with the pricing. It's really not a matter of covering our costs, but creating an appealing offer for the sponsor. So it's very much sort of a package. How we will market these opportunities. So your event will be included in the 2016 sponsorship book, which we're working on right now. To give you an example, this book will include the national convention, webinars, advertising in the magazine, as well as the website, and regional and federation events that choose to participate in this program. This book acts very much as a menu, so we can create packages to meet the marketing goals of the sponsors. From there, we create one agreement, and they have one point of contact at NARFE. For example, let's say I have a conversation with Verizon Fios, who is a new affinity partner, but I'm talking to them about sponsorship for 2016, and they choose to sponsor something at the convention, something at a regional convention, and maybe an ad in the magazine. All of those things will go into one agreement. It will be established and budgeted for at the beginning of the year, and there's no need for multiple contracts or different negotiations. It makes it easier on the sponsor as well as on NARFE. When and who we will market to. So as I mentioned, we're working on the sponsorship book right now, hoping to complete it in mid-September. In the fall of 2015, we will go out to our prospect list with these opportunities before the 2016 budgets are set. Our prospect list includes our affinity partners like Geico, Bell Towing Hearing, because in a lot of ways they're the lowest hanging fruit. Affinity partners already know our audience. We know that they want to reach them, and this gives them additional opportunities to supplement what they're already doing with our members through the affinity partners and member discounts. So we would certainly reach out to all the partners. We'd reach out to past sponsors, those that participated at the Federation President's Meeting, for example, because not all sponsors are affinity partners. And then last, we would reach out to general prospects. These are companies who perhaps advertise with us in the NARFE magazine or have just asked to be kept up to date with opportunities with NARFE. All of the people that I reach out to in these three categories would be at the national or corporate level. And it's important to begin at the national level as they have the biggest budgets. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
Jennifer, I just wanted to, for a moment, if you just switch back, Dan, the importance of having this book and all of our opportunities available at the end of the fourth quarter. It is when their budgets are available and when they're looking to fill it with opportunities. So if you're not out there as they have that spend available to you, if you come in later over the course of the year because you don't have an event until later in the year, you'll have the slim pickings left after they've made their full package plans.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Very good point. So what support services are offered as a part of this program? Basically, if you choose to participate, you don't need to worry about negotiating the agreement, working with sponsors on invoice and payment, fulfilling deliverables such as sourcing, pricing, and ordering lanyards, bags, and other tangible deliverables. As necessary, managing sponsorships on site. Clearly, we can't be at all of these events, but if there is an event with a large number of sponsors with complex needs, we will get there to help you out. Creating reports for sponsors post-event. Let me explain why this is so critical. It doesn't end when the event is over. This follow-through helps justify the spend and ensure participation next year. Sponsors really have to validate and justify where they spend their money, and by providing reports on number of attendees, number of logo impressions, even photos of their speakers speaking, that goes a long way to them saying, we got a really strong return on our investment here, and we need to do this again. And then 20% of the funds generated by HQ will be held to cover costs. So timeline for tabletops and ads. Many of you currently sell tabletops or tables and ads for your programs, and you should continue to do so, but we need to coordinate our efforts. We will be selling these as well and packaging them with sponsorships when possible. Large companies have larger budgets at the national level, basically, so we ask that you wait to reach out to the local representatives. And once our discussions at the national level are done, then you should reach out to supplement as needed. And let me give you an example here. For example, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Let's say I reach out to my contact who has nationwide oversight, and he chooses A, B, and C. But he didn't pick a table at your event. So once I'm finished with my discussions with them, they've made their final decisions on where they're going to spend their money, I would let you know, and then you would still reach out to your local representative to see if they want to purchase a table. Often these different parts of an organization have different budgets. And at the national level, they may have one budget, and they may use that to sponsor a lunch at your convention where they've never done that before. But the local representative may have budgeted to do a table, and they might want to continue doing that out of their budget. And I've seen that happen a lot where they sort of divide and conquer, and they're able to get more exposure at an event by using separate budgets. So the time-sensitive next steps. If you would like to participate in this program, please submit the following things by August 14th. I know that this is a quick turnaround, and to give you some more information about why this is, as I mentioned, we're working on this book, and it is very critical that this book be released and sent out mid-September. And that gives the sponsors time to review the options. We schedule conference calls to go over any questions they have. They create their wish list and submit them to their finance departments to have these funds included in next year's budget. And we want to make sure that we are in there with all the other associations that are asking for money. So by giving me all this information by August 14th, it gives me time to follow up with you and get a clear understanding of your events. I am asking that you provide the date and location of the events, the estimated number of attendees. Events must be at least one full day and have a minimum of 25 attendees to qualify. A drafted agenda for the event, or even last year's agenda, would help give me an understanding of what it looks like. And then the name and email of a liaison with your federation or region that I will work with exclusively throughout the program.
So I think that, and up here is obviously Jennifer's contact information. You can provide the information that she just asked for there, or any additional questions you have when you get off. We wanted to remind you that these webinars are going to be archived in the members only section of the website. We can send out a link to you this afternoon on those if you want to hear this again. I do want to go back for just one moment on the timing of this, because I know when we did this webinar about 10 days ago, there was a little bit of concern of why we were turning this around so quickly, and I know that Jennifer hit it on the head. You know, the idea only came from us when we were in Reno, and we really only took about a week to try to figure out a program that would work, and then get right back out to you, because there was definitely interest in a momentum building for some support from headquarters. So we hope, next year obviously we'll give you lots more time, but we hope a number of you can work with us this year under what we recognize are tight deadlines. But if you have some questions now, we would be happy to open up the chat and answer any questions that you'd have at the moment. I know that last time it took a moment or two for the chat to begin, so we will wait. We'll do another chat, not questions. Either way. See if there's any questions now. Okay, back to chat. I don't see any questions coming in. So again, you have Jennifer's email there. You can contact me as well if by any chance you can't get through. And it's a pleasure, and we look forward to working with you.
Yes, I hope to work with many of you. If you have any questions, please contact me. Otherwise, I appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you. Close. Okay. Mm-hmm. Please. Well, that was weird happening on.
That was weird. I wonder if we didn't.